Hello and welcome back to the Gadget Man 369 channel. Today we are going to build and install the fins. This should be a much easier build than last week's video, which included that nose cone. Boy, that was something else, huh? But we got that done. That video was too long, but had to do what you had to do on that. These fins that we're making, I've been doing off and on throughout the years, and I just recently came up with a different design that makes them come out perfect instead of all warped and everything. Also, installing the fins, I am going to show you how to make a template that we put around the sustainer and mark with a pencil to make the alignment perfect. That way you could glue them on there without a special fin jig or anything like that. Although maybe in the future we could make one of those and make installing the fins a lot easier and a lot more accurate. Just glue it, stick it on, and let it dry, you know, kind of a thing. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with this. Here's the drawing. You can print this out if you want, and I would recommend studying this because it's kind of complicated. We're gonna make a template. Okay, that's enough. Okay. I'm gonna get this piece of paper out here. Let's get a new piece of paper out here. I'm gonna fold that in half. We're gonna make a double layered laminated sheet. There we go. Now we're going to put some glue on it. Okay, where's the glue? There we go. Okay, let's get this glue smeared all over the place here. There we go. Almost there. Yep. Okay, good enough. Now let's get a extra big gluer and make a little bit wider than usual. Spread that out. You really don't need to go all the way off the edges on this because we're going to use the center of this more or less for that template. Yeah, right, just like that. Yeah, I didn't get any audio on this, so I don't know what happened. I lost the audio during the build, so I'm just going to try and wing this. You don't hear anything else. There's that drawing. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, get the protractor out. We're going to make a vertical line, and then the next line, it's got to be 90 degrees exactly, so you could line that protractor up. Yeah, don't use that little hole that comes with it. Use the lines that are on there for an accurate 90-degree angle line. Yep. Kind of sounds weird without anything in the background. The noises. But I really couldn't re-record this all over again just for the sake of audio, so this is the first time I'm going to try and just add my own audio in it. Using a Tascam DR05 with a mic plugged in and clipped on my shirt. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing there. The usual. Those measurements on the width are 1.75. Okay. Another vertical one, 1.75. Okay, and these are another 1.75. That's 1¾ of an inch. Gonna make two marks on this, just like that. just going to draw those lines in lightly. These are just guidelines. Okay, the next line is going to be over 2 inches. You have to look on the drawing. I can't remember exactly what it was. 2.6 something. Yeah, right there. Whatever that says. And yeah, that's a lawnmower in the background going off. Okay, yeah, okay. It looks like it's 2.65. But double check the drawing. I'm just winging this audio in here. There we go. Just like that. Do the usual, put the pencil tip on that first one, then line the one on the bottom. Zoom. There we go. Got those measurements in. This is where we're going to build this template inside of. Now we got this next measurements. I'm going to make them, it's glue tabs. They're 1/4 of an inch off the edge of that, so I'll mark a 1/4 inch there, 1/4 inch there, 1/4 of an inch on that one, 1/4 of an inch on that. Now we can just like draw lines in between there, just lightly. Okay, this will give us the correct dimension off of the edge of there. As you can see on the drawing, we got some tricky stuff here. There is a 41-degree angle and a 10-degree angle, so I'm going to do the 10-degree angle one first. Yay, I got that right. So from the center there, okay, make sure the crosshairs are lined up, not the hole, but the lines. Then go up there and mark 10 degrees, okay, and then draw a line. You can make it dark between where it counts there if you look on the template, like right there. Now we got, is that 41 degrees? You have to double check that print. Looks like it's 41 degrees. Okay, I just darkened that line where it counts there. Okay, now I'm going to line this thing up. Make sure the line goes out far enough where you can get that lined up to the 0 at the top of that protractor. Then you come over here 41 degrees. Just like that. Okay, hopefully the light don't go out. I know it didn't go out, so actually this time the batteries and the light lasted. Okay, then I'm just making a dark line, just like that. I should have went vertical on the back side of that. Okay, I already did. Okay, that one's dark. Now I'm going to make a measurement from there to there. Whatever that says on the drawing, I can't remember what it was. But that's one of the glue tabs on there. I can get this out and actually look at the drawing, right? Okay, where is it? Okay, there's the next measurement. Huh, where'd that drawing go? I don't know. Where's the template drawing? Got that next measurement. There it is. And that is 1.312. That's what that mark is. Okay. Then I'm going to draw an angle, bisect the angles between that and that. Okay. That last measurement was 1.250 on that vertical distance up there. Got it, like I said, double check this drawing. I have it here now so I can do this. And that last line I just made, it was at a right angle to that last dashed line, which is the fold line. I'm gonna make a fold there. Okay, let's see. We got this dimension down here. It's 0.200. I'm gonna make that there. Okay, you're gonna draw a line between there and there. Okay, so as you notice, this makes a slight taper. Make a 90-degree. I'm just eyeballing it, but you can make it more precise. That's 90 degrees. Okay. Between there and there is a dashed line. That's another fold. I'm just marking these in here. Okay, that's 0.200. Okay, and that's at right angle to that last dashed line we made. And that one is from that edge over there. So it's got this triangle shape. And that should make it automatically the right angle right there. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing over here. So just a mirror image. Okay, like that. That's like 1/4 of an inch. I made it a little darker there so you guys can see it. And that measurement again, which I didn't say the first time, was 1.250. So I'm going to make a mark there. Now darken the line up to that mark. Now it's a 90-degree angle over to that light line. Okay, now we're going to make a dashed line. Well, I guess we're not. That's dark. That's a cut line. I'm going to cut along that little line. There's the dash mark. As you can see, that's going to be where that tab is going to be folded. Now you come back over here, and we're going to set that again to 1.312. Make a tick mark there so you can have a reference. Whew, this is a little bit awkward to do this while I'm doing that. Okay, what do we got going there? Okay, 0.200. Okay, that's the point where that thing's going to narrow again. It's the same as that right there. And I just darkened that line because we're going to be cutting that out. Okay, this is a vertical line. Okay, make a tick mark there. Okay. I'm just darkening that up so you can see that. Okay, what do we got going here? Okay. Okay, there's that little angle there, 7 degrees. If you look on the drawing, it's the same on both sides. So you could kind of like make sure the opposite side has that same angle. Yeah, just like that. That's the angle. Okay, now there's that tick mark, 0.200. Make a dark line there. Come over here, make a dark line there. Now we got that right. Might want to go back to the other one. I don't think we did that, and fix that angle. There's the dash line. That's where it's going to be folded. Okay. Now, something I messed up on, huh? Did I mess something up? Boy, it sure looks like I messed something up there. Oh yeah, duh. Hopefully there's a sound effect for this. I forgot that that measurement is 0.437 off of the edge. Like that. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, from there to there. And make that dash line. That's a fold line. Okay, now that's on there correctly. Okay. make that line like that, and that'll be 1/4 of an inch there. Tick mark. Okay, that should be 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Now you reset that to that 0.200. Okay. Now, just for the sake of that, there's that 7-degree angle. I'm just going to wing that angle in there. Something like that. I think it'd be better if you were a little bit more accurate. So when these things are folded up, it'll have a correct angle. So when it's folded up, it meets there correctly. And you'll see that later. Keep moving this thing around. Okay, there we go, 90-degree angle. So both of those, that 1/4 inch meets the 0.200, just like that. It's a slight taper. This is just a mirror image of the other side. No problem, man. Okay, and then from there to there, there's an angle, as you can see from where that meets, and then there's another dash line. That's the fold line. Okay, and now the hard part. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. Okay, just like that. That's a fold line, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to try and get an angle in there. I need 41 degrees. Okay, so 41. Just like that. This is going to be a dashed. I think it was going to be a dashed line. Yeah, that should have been a dashed line. Okay. Let's see what we got going here. Okay. There's a again. Okay. Yeah, that was supposed to be a dash line, so I just make it. That's a fold line. Okay, now we got that right. Now there's a tricky part right here. There is a little bit of an angle up there on that. Not too much. You probably don't, it's not necessary to do this. When it folds together, oh, excuse me. When it folds together, and if you just make that straight, there'll be a tiny bit of an overlap to shoot some glue under. So that angle there might not be that necessary, but it's not going to hurt anything. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? We're going to put the fold line, dash lines heavier across there, and the vertical one from the center out down to the edge. And that one up on the on the top is not a folded line. Nothing's going to be folded there, so you just erase that line like that. Very good. Okay. Now I'm going to shade in where the glue is actually going to be. Okay, this will make things a little bit easier to see when it comes time to fold this up and glue it up. So the overlaps, this will be the flap that's underneath the overlap from the tabs on the opposite side, just like that. Okay, it's going to be cut out there. Okay, just like that. I'm just showing you the path of where you're going to cut this thing out. And I did this just to demonstrate exactly what I did to make that template. I already made a template because this sheet of paper is double laminated. It needs to dry overnight or something. And of course you could put something on top of it so when it dries nice and flat. Just like that. Okay. Is there going to be like a magic trick? Watch this. Abracadabra. Real magic involved. And your template, after you cut that out where I showed you along around the edges of that, also when you cut that out, make sure that you cut the line off of it. Or maybe not. No, I changed my mind. We're going to trace that out, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut the line off of the actual piece. So now we're going to actually make the fin. Yep, just like that. Make the fin. I'm going to carefully trace this out. Do not let that template move whatsoever. Okay? And when you approach that last line down there, hold it down. Do not let it move at all. Real important. Kind of takes a little bit of a trick to do this. Okay? Now I'm not letting that move. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to mark exactly the locations of all those fold lines. So you can see what I'm doing there. You can see all those dash lines. Okay? Get it, make sure you get all of them in there, because when you pull that off of there, it's too hard to lay that back down on there. These are guidelines that you'll need to put those dashed lines in there. Okay, you can see that. Those, wherever those dashed lines, you know. Oops, put that in the wrong place. Okay. Yeah, my hand's in the way. It's really hard to do this. I got a new filming angle here. Too bad the sound got messed up. Okay, just like that. Just like that. And I did forget that one, that diagonal one, where the tip of my thumb is, or did I? Okay. Make sure you mark that little circle there, that little round hole at the end over there. Get that one. Okay, now I'm going to double check and make sure I got them all. Oops, okay, there's that one in the middle there. Come on, you can see it. Oh yeah, there's that one. That's for that one, and that one. There's that one. That's the one I originally forgot. Okay. And I made a little screwy dealy in the hole in the middle of that template. Okay, now what you want to do is use those marks you just put in to put those dashed lines in exactly where they go. And they won't match exactly because that pencil line of the outside will be slightly bigger. Dashed lines between the places where they actually belong. Okay, there's that one to the center, dashed line. Okay. Next one, got the ones going across there. I'm lining the lines, those reference marks that I made. Yep. Yep, okay, here are the sirens out there. Too many wrecks out here. Okay, gonna get that one. You can see what I'm doing here. Pay really a close attention. There's that same technique. That one's a solid line. That's the line we'll actually be cutting. Okay, there's those. And I forgot to make that diagonal one. You see that mark there on the tip? That I remember. I don't think I put that in there, so I had to put it in after I cut the piece out. So it'd be easier to actually just do that right now. Okay, and double check it and make sure you got all those in there. And you can see that diagonal one there is missing. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut this part out. Now the trick is to cut the pencil line off. There is a pencil line width, and you want to cut on the inside. And when you do that, it'll match those fold dash lines that you made. Just like that. Try and be accurate as you can with this, so when we assemble this fin, it doesn't come out all crooked. Yeah, like that. Like that. Yeah, see that? I forgot to put that dash line in there. I'm going to have to do that. We could put it in. I can put it in after I get done cutting this out, I think. There we go. Cut the line off. But don't go beyond the line width, because then the part won't come out right. Accuracy is everything. Just like that. Okay. I'm gonna cut that. That one there, and then there's that one that's angled up to it. Cut the line off, but no farther. Okay, there's that little one there. You cut that slit. Just like that. Another line. I'm not doing too bad, just making up stuff as I'm going here. It's a little easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, get that one, cut the pencil line off and go to that little hole there, or that little round mark. Yeah, okay, forgot that one. Get that off of there. Good. Now there's two things we got to do, is mark that fold line that I forgot. There's two of them on there, as you can see. Okay, that one across here. Okay, that's pretty easy to put in. Then there's that diagonal on that bigger piece there, and that should go from the center to the point, and that's on the right side of this part as you see it here. Let's see how long it takes me to realize that. It's like pre-folded. Okay, what you want to do is pre-fold all of these, just like I'm showing. Okay, putting that line, putting that dash line in there, the paper just like all automatically folds right along that pencil line all by itself. It's pretty easy. Just like that. A little tricky getting to that point, just kind of push it in and get it to fold on that pencil dash line. Okay. There we go, get that. Okay, that's like I call pre-folding. And now, I'm just guessing here, I think we just unfold all of that now, because we got it started. And now it was like, oops, there's that fold on that diagonal, that right there. All right, get that in there. It's a little harder to get that in there, but another dash line, just like that. Okay, you could scribe where all those folds are going to be and then not have any pencil line in those positions whatsoever, but that makes it a little bit tougher in your case for the first ones to see. And there it is. All the parts cut out and pre-folded. Now we're ready to glue this together. Let's see, get the drawing out. Now what we want to do is, notice there's A, B, C, D, E, F on there, and glue those up in the order that's shown on that drawing there. C, F, just like that. You'll see on the drawing there, where's B? We could mark that on those tabs. That'll make it a lot easier. Okay. Whatever it's on the drawing, just go ahead and mark. Put a little letter on the tabs. Left and right side. Left, right side. Just like that. That'll make it easier for you to understand what's going to be first. So the A tab, I'm going to bend that over like that. Okay. Just like that. You can notice how I didn't overbend the one that tucks in the inside there. I'm just going to test this. Okay. What you're going to do is when you're going to glue that in there, just hold that square part right there. You don't worry about the part above it. That has to be flat on the table when you do it. Okay, let's see. Gluer. Okay, get a scrap piece of paper and put underneath there so you won't get glue on your cutting mat. Another Ricky Racer out there. Okay, let's see. Get the glue. There we go. Put some glue on there. And then you get a gluer and draw some glue on the edge of that. That was really a good one. Now, on the back side of that A tab, I'm gonna put that glue on there. Just like that. Okay. Now you got to treat this like you're, you know, doing an operation on a beetle or a small insect or something, so you won't break any wings or legs or anything. So, because this is really a lightweight, delicate part, you can take a pencil or a stick and help push that down to set the glue. Usually it takes 20+ seconds holding it in there like that. Now gently hold down all the way around that square part so that part is flat to the table. It's not lifted up on the back or edge or anything. Like I said, that long triangle on the top, that's okay, just letting it sit where it may right there. Okay, important thing is to build this and hold it flat as it sits. There we go. Count up to 20 seconds. Okay, I'm just getting that out of the way. Okay, now it's time to glue the B tabs. Okay, that part where we shaded in, that's the part that's going to be folded in. Like I said, don't fold it in too far because we want to have a little bit of contact on there where that glue is. When you turn that tab in there, draw the glue, get the glue all the way from one edge of that. You don't have to get it all the way down, but you have to get it all the way across. Now again, holding that dead flat. You use all those fingers. You got one on one corner, one on another, and another under. My thumb's under there holding that corner of that square down, which you can't see. Don't push down hard on that because it'll crush it or bend it or do something. You want to keep it flat to the table while that glue is setting. Make sure that's flat. Make sure it's flat. Yes, I repeated myself. Flat as a tire on a nail-ridden road. Okay, a little stubborn there. It's trying to... if the glue doesn't stick, or if it dries too soon and nothing's stuck, you could just add a little bit more glue in there. Got to hold that in there, and we're just waiting for the glue to set. Holding that down. Okay, now we got the C tabs. Same thing. That shaded area where the glue lies will be pushed in first. Okay. But I'm digging a little bit of glue in there on that last, the B tabs where it came up. Hold it down again. Give it a little light rub. Gotta get that to stick all the way down. Okay, we're getting there. Hold it for a few seconds here. There we go. Push that in there a little bit, but don't push it in. That was a little bit too far. But I could pull part of that out, back out of there again. glue dried on there, so we got to put some more glue on there and draw some more glue on that gluer. It's just like a repeated thing. Now spread a little glue all the way across that tab, just like that. Hold it that whole square section completely flat. It's flat, man. There we go. Okay, just like that. Lightly rub that. I got several fingers, as you can see. The finger holding that whole part down flat. Even my thumb under there. You can't see what it's laying on, but it's laying on one corner. My ring finger is holding down the opposite corner, and middle finger holding down that. Now I'm going to hold that down so this part will set flat, just like that. Now if you lift that up there too soon, it'll continue drying and warp it. It might warp it a little bit. And I'm having the edge of that that fold up there. There's that finger right there. It's like pushing down. Yeah, right there. That tab is like making it a little difficult to hold flat. So I'm going to straighten that tab out. Lift that back up. It's okay to lift it up a little farther than it's going to go. Not much of a fold in that F flap. Okay, now we're going to glue the E flaps together. Same thing. Fold that shaded tab ends on the inside. Get some glue on there. Is there enough glue on there? Yeah, okay, it looks like it. Draw that glue on all of that right there. Some techniques. Wipe the gluer off. And now you got a triangle. This triangle, you're going to do what you did with the square back there, but never mind what the square part is doing now. The object is now is to hold that part, that triangle part, completely flat to the table, waiting for this glue to set. There we go. Keep rubbing it, playing around. Okay. Hopefully the sound effects on here is going to be okay. This thing kind of locked up for about 8 seconds, so the audio might be a little tricky. Okay, holding that down. Just like that. Give it time to dry enough so it'll stay in position. Okay, sometimes you got to be a little patient with this. Alright. Ding. I just did that for the sake of the audio lineup. That would have been my thumb going right off the edge of the tip of that thing. Okay, put a little extra glue in there, you know, where the paper is trying to not stick and come apart. Get it down really good. Holding that triangle flat again while I'm doing this. The glue kind of came apart on the tip of that, so just making a little repair. That's it. Give it a little rub to keep that from going down. If you just stick your finger in there and you wait, then the glue will stick to your finger, and that'll kind of mess you up. Okay, I'm going to hold that down for a few more seconds. All the corners, get that triangle flat to the table. You might want to hold it down longer than I'm showing you here. But anything over 20 seconds should be okay. 30 seconds would even be better. Now here's what we got. Got this part, it wiggles like that, it moves. Now here's kind of a tricky part. Just kind of line that up where it's nice and straight. Like that, and then we'll put some glue Okay, get that glue. Glue on the gluer. Now you need to be an octopus to do all this stuff here. Okay, I'm kind of showing you a little out of order. The glue should have been in that other spot first, and to get this thing to lay down straight, and then this tab here should have been done last, but you can still get away with that. Make sure that that is in a nice straight line. Eyeball it, one eyeball it, hold it up so you can see if it's straight enough. Keep it straight. And of course we got that 20-second watch. Wait, not watch. Hell, I'm not even wearing a watch here right now. Okay. Now before that completely dries, I'm going to give that a look-see. Keep looking down the edge of that. I don't know if I'm going to show you that. But if you eyeball that down the back side of that, it should be all straight in line and not bent in a perfectly crooked manner. Yeah, you don't want that bent. Let's see if I could show you that. Here we go. See, we're going to show you. There you go. See how straight that is? Center to center. That should have been done. This should have been done glued before the other one, because it makes it easier to make it straight. And then once that sets and dries and you've proved that that was straight, then you put glue underneath that F-tab area. And there we go. How do you like that, huh? One fin made, 3 to go. 3 to go. Okay, and now here's something else you could do with this. You just doll it up a little bit. Just trim ever so small amount on there, just a tiny amount. Don't overdo this. Just a little tick off of there. Then you can kind of sand that round lightly. Sand it round. And it makes it more pleasant to the eye. Okay, put a dot of glue on there. Rub it in. Just like that. Remove excess glue. This just gets glue in the paper, so, because there's probably a hole, or could be a hole there. You're just closing that back up. Okay, gonna put that glue cap back on there. Let's get rid of that. And there you go. Now that fin is completely finished. And as you can see, look at it real close. It's all really straight, really nice. Now, if you want to make the other 3 fins, there's a quicker way to do that. You just use a little bit of magic. Watch this. Ready? Abracadabra. All right, look at that. Magic. Ta-da! That's the easiest way to make fins that I know of. You just use a little magic and you don't have to go through all that building. There we are. There's all 4 of them. Yeah. Yay, Jaeger. Okay, now we have this sustainer. The next phase is we gotta make a template so we can make some marks to line those fins perfectly on that body tube there. You don't want to just glue them on any old way. You got to make sure they're all straight and that they are all even across there. So what you do is you take a piece of paper. Yeah, there's that. I'm just going to quickly rip off a sheet. Make it shorter than the actual fin. Shorter than where, the back side of that fin. Okay, I'm just going to do something quick here to save batteries and video time. Just going to do a magic tear there. Just like that. Get the tube out, wrap the paper around, and make it a little bit cockeyed on there, so it'll make sure that paper is tight on the tube, and then make a little mark right there where you see the edge of that paper sticking up, right there. Okay. Just like that. That's the first one. Now what you're going to do is fold that paper in half at that mark. We are going to do what you call an accordion fold. Just like that. Okay. I just kind of tore the paper off about 1/4 of an inch. Now that mark we made, you're going to fold that paper edge up to that. Okay, and then we're going to fold this one back. Don't fold it all the way across, just on the bottom and top there. Look, watch really closely. There and there only, because that thing's got to wrap back around the tube. Now you fold that in half from the fold on that one there, like that. This is just a trick instead of measuring it. Okay, now we're going to use the edge of your pencil lead to make a mark. Just like that, just like that, just like that. Okay, and then you got to fold that one backwards so we can get the mark. Whoop, make that sharp. Okay, now that picked up some pencil lines, just like that. Those are like divided into 4 exactly equal spots. You could measure it, but I just showed you an easier way to do that. Now what we're going to do is mount that template tightly back on that tube. Just like that. Make sure it's tight all the way around and that paper is laying up there. Now we're going to take some glue and put a dot of glue there and hold it down. While that's drying, just make sure the paper is laying down flat all the way around. Just double checking that. While that glue is still drying, you can still adjust it a bit. Okay. Whistle a little bit. Just make you have to wait for it to dry and set up so you can work with this. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to turn that. You'll see the 2 tick marks. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to make it so the seam of that body tube is about in the center. And now we're going to draw the lines, guidelines from there to there, like that, like that. Okay, and then you come down and do it on the other side. Just like that. Got a message on my phone. Not going to look at it. So I'm busy with this. Just like that. Okay, double check and make sure you got all those lines on there. Then you remove that. Now, like you did before, rub a mark on the back side of that, the edge of the paper. Because when you get the glue on the fin and you get it down there, you won't know if it's lined up or not. But you got to have something, alignment marks on there. Probably can't see that on this video, but the marks are all there. There's that. All right, now it's time to put this don't have to be all that perfect. Just draw a bead like that, kind of a thick bead on that back edge. Try and, as close as you can, just lay it right in the center of that line, and then look at the top. Yeah, I'm shaking because I'm nervous. It's like, oh no. Sometimes it gives you the willies. Now I'm going to slide that back so that lines up perfectly. Okay, get the top. You got time to move this around. Don't just once you lay that down on there, quickly align the fin. Now you got to look down the back side and make sure the back side of that fin is lined up in the center of that tick that we drew in there. Probably can't see that, but that's right. I'm pointing at that dot that we made on there, and then you look that way and make sure that fin is centered on that tick mark. Of course we can't see that right now, but when it's all assembled, I can't move the camera or nothing. It's like there's no way to get that in there. Okay, now we hold that, set that down where the fin is sitting like that vertically. Yeah, give it like a minute to dry or more before you do the other side. We're gonna glue the next fin on there on the other side. I'm being a little quick here, so on mine, but on yours you could do a little bit better job. Okay. putting something next to it so it won't roll over by itself. Just like that. Okay, there's other fins. I don't know what I'm doing there, but I'm doing it. That fin there should be left vertical. Okay, you'll see a big gap in there, like you see right here. But you don't worry about that. We're going to fill that gap with glue when these are all mounted on there and dry, you know. Now, we'll put some more glue across the next one. Look how straight that fin is. Just like that. It'll kind of spread out on its own when we mount that. Now, rotate that and do the opposite side. Lay down the back of that, right on the center of that back of that line, as close as you can get it. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, so once you line, yeah, that side there, get the front, that top lined up with that tick mark, that line. Okay, and then quickly look down the back side, and you'll see that mark that you made, that tick mark, and move the back left or right until that tick mark is right in the center of the back of that fin. And that joint, that right angle there, meets right at the end of the body tube, and make it nice. That's what I'm doing here, and you're not seeing. I'm looking at and lining that while the glue is still wet. That's why I use a lot of glue on this. It takes longer to dry. Okay, and then double check on the top and make sure the tick mark is still lined up on the tip of the fin. And make sure this is square. Okay? If you drew a line from the bottom tip of one fin all the way through to the next fin, they should be going right through the center of that motor tube. And again, I'm looking in the back, which I can't do and show it to you right now, but make sure they're absolutely vertical. You know, they match. They're not bent out of shape or misaligned or something. And this is the only opportunity you get to do this is when the glue is wet. Okay, I'm opening a drawer there. Oh my God, okay, it's out of view. I just put this thing in an open drawer and having the fins part hanging out, which you can't see. I'm going to get this next fin ready. And hopefully that thing will be dry. Just like that. You can see how much glue I got on that. I'm going to do the next one. Okay, right there. Eyeball it as close as you can. And then the most important thing is the top of that fin right there. It's got to be in line with that tick mark. Okay, now it's time to line the back side up. I'm trying to show you what we got here so you can see what it looks like. Now you can see I'm going to pull that fin back so that joint is in perfect alignment with the bottom of that body tube. Just like that. Okay, and now I'm going to look in the back. Got to make sure that the back of that fin is lined up perfectly to that tick mark. Tick mark should be right in the center of the thickness of that fin. And you can see a little gap there. That's normal. That's going to be all filled with glue. It happens really easy. And then, by the way, when that glue that's on there right now dries, it'll pull it down a little bit farther. Just like that. Okay, I got a piece of paper in my hand. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Okay, I was explaining, oh yeah, there's a way to align that. If you pre-fold a paper like that, I'm trying to get that on there. Okay, I'm looking down there, and if you look to the back, that's like a 90-degree angle. You can see how close that fin is to being 90 degrees. By folding a piece of paper. Boy, that was a bad little fold right there. You might get the idea of what I did or not, but it's like making a square. You got perfectly right angles on that little paper over there, and I just held it up and eyeballed it. And what I'm doing is the fin I just glued on, I want to make sure it's 90 degrees to the other two fins that I just glued on there. And yeah, I'm out of the camera here. I didn't realize that. Okay, I got the thing back on that drawer, so I got 3 fins on it right now. And I set the rocket body tube there on the drawer with the fins sticking out. You don't want to lay it down flat on anything right now, because then the fins will get bent out of shape. A little bit of a tricky thing. Got that one, got that one. Okay, same old routine. That tip there's got to be in perfect line with that tick at the top. Then I think I'm turning it around and lining the rest of it up. Oh, look at that. I laid that thing perfectly on the edge there. Now I got to go left and right, which I'm doing there. I'm bending it a little bit so that tick mark is right in the center of the thickness of the back of the fin. And that one on the top, double checking the one on the top to make sure it didn't move when you were doing that. Okay. And here we go. I'm putting a little bit of down pressure, but very little. You don't need a lot. Okay. And after a few seconds, hold it in place. Now we're going to square this one, which I'm doing right here. Pushing down, squaring it, and then there'll be a time, yeah, maybe right there, I'm looking down the back side of that. And then you could tell if they are all squared up or leaning one way or the other, and you can repair that. Boy, that's a shame that the microphone stopped working. Okay, let that set. You could have that set maybe 5 or 10 minutes or something. And now we're going to put the glue fillet in. Do that welding technique. Okay, you don't want to keep them. Try and make that as consistent on all the fins. Welding it up. Okay, this is going to fill that gap. Got a little hole, give it a dab. Okay, gonna weld that one. Get it started. Gonna weld that all the way down. Just like that. Okay. When that dries, most of the thickness of that glue will disappear. It'll leave a nice fillet in there. Just like that. Yeah, just remember, the glue is like 90% water. When it dries, it just leaves hardly anything on there. It's okay if you miss a spot and there's a little hole there. Just keep going all the way down to the end, and then come back and give a little dab of glue on the hole, if there's one. You saw me do that on the last one. Just like that. Okay, there's 4 of them. You got 4 more to go. A little bit of welding there. Okay, you can see how much I'm getting on there. It looks like a lot, but in this case, because we're filling it, you want to get at least that much on there. Fill the hole last. Okay, just like that. Kind of looks like an aluminum weld. Oop, there's a hole there, but just keep going until you get to the end to come back and fix that. That way you won't lose your rhythm, and it'll make a big ugly spot. Haha, I missed going back and getting the hole. I'm sure that I will catch that. Oops. See how it kind of made an ugly mark if you make that little hole there and you do it too soon. Okay, just like that. Matter of fact, you could come back and hit those holes after you're done with all the fins, just so you won't lose the rhythm of doing this. Here we go. Now we got all those. Let's see if we look for some holes to fill. I can already see one there, but let's see if I catch that. There's a big hole right there. Yep, I'm gonna catch that right there. That's the way. Just check for the holes, if it all looks good. Good, okay. All right. Now we're going to put a weld across the back of those fins where it meets the tube. And it just bridges a nice looking weld across there. This is more cosmetic than functional. Like that. Like that. One more. Okay. There we go. There we go. Get rid of the hole. Whoops. Get a dot of glue on the inside of that cone that was unnecessary. Okay. Now we need to put some glue on the tips of those. Just watch closely what I'm doing. You're just going to put like one dot of weld on the tip of that, and it should flow and mix in with both sides of the glue. So put enough on there where it does that, but no more. Okay, look at that, huh? Now you got the it all welded up and everything. Now when you set that down, don't set it upright, because all the glue, it'll like pool up and run all the way off the bottom and make an ugly mess. It's like, there's the drawer. I'm going to put it sideways on there. You probably can't see that because it's out of the camera view. But I'm going to, in my case, you could lay it on a kitchen. Yeah, don't lay it down upright. It's got to be in this position while it's drying. That way the glue won't be running left or right or up and down on the thing. Done that by accident before, and it makes an ugly mess that you can't fix. Okay, you could even lay it down at this point like that, because the glue that initially glued those fins on are pretty much dry right now. And there we go. The fins have been made, assembled, and installed just like that. Good job. All right, now we finished assembling the fins and assembling them on the sustainer section. Yeah, now this is what I was trying to show you earlier. Look at the alignment. Okay, double check the alignment. Glue is still wet. You can kind of still, the more it dries, the less chance you have of making it square. That's pretty doggone square. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. This is probably the best set of fins I ever made. Let's see if this goes on. Okay. There we are. And there's the rocket. Look at that. Now it looks like we've got something. Yeah, the whole rocket's made. I don't know if you can see all that in there. Anyway, there it is. Let's set this stuff aside. I'm going to set this down. The glue is still drying, as you can see. And I'm going to put that on the edge of that drawer and let it sit there until it dries. And this, I'll just set it right next to that. All right, I hope you had fun with today's build. I don't think as hard as that nose cone. That was really something, a long video. Next week, we are going to make and assemble and install the launch lugs. Those are pretty darn easy to make. So if everything goes all right, there'll be a short video. Yeah, watch it be 2 hours long. No, they're just a thing that holds the rocket on the launching pad. Well, we're almost finished with this model. After next week, the rocket itself will be all done. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. We will see you next week on the Gadget Man 369 channel.